wanna know who's that girl. Come on.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who haven't been here before, welcome to As Told by Cheryl. I'm Cheryl. For those of you who have been here before, thanks for coming back. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So, welcome back to Tinder Tuesday. Today, we're gonna be discussing one of the guys that I actually dated for some time, and then things went south, and we interacted with each other for a bit, and then totally cut the guy off. I'm gonna call him Yahoo Boy. For those of you who don't know what a Yahoo Boy is, it's generally guys who scam older women online, mostly like older women in like America or like overseas. The women can be quite gullible at times because they are fragile and they just want to be loved, so they'll end up giving the guy money and then the guy will make his guap. Also, if you look at the exchange rate between like here and like America, you can make quite a bit of guap depending on how much you ask the woman for, but like, yeah. Woo! So this guy and I met on Tinder. We swiped and we were in quite a close proximity of each other. I think it was like 2.5 kilometers. And we started like chatting and stuff, and things were like going well, and he was cute and he had like this beard and the height was going for him. So I was like, yay, like thumbs up. So we start chatting and stuff, talking about life. He asked like what I'm doing in life, and at that point in time I was still in uni studying. And he's like, oh, that's great of you to be studying. You know, there are a lot of girls who just decide that they don't want to study and they just want to hustle and like they shouldn't, like, you know. And I was kind of like, to each their own. If I want to quit school and hustle, then I do it, right? And then he was like, yeah. So I'm like, what do you do? And he's like, no, forex trading. Red flag. At that point in time, I didn't know it was a red flag, but like, let's carry on. He's like, why don't you, let's meet up. So we go to like McDonald's for ice cream. We have ice cream, we chat a bit, and like it's fun, and like, you know, conversation is flowing, and then that date like ends, and then we text a bit more, and he's like, come over to my place. So I'm like, okay, cool. I go over to his place. He shows me his place. He's like, this is my brother Mang Mang, and they like live together in this like cute little apartment. So I'm like, oh, okay, in Sunning Hill, actually, yeah, because I stay in Ribonia, so quite close. And so guy and I are getting to know each other, we're talking. That date he was like, let's watch a movie. So we like watched a movie, we talked a bit, and then I left. Yeah. Came back another time for like another date, and we're like chilling on the bed. Well, first actually, so now like we've had like a few dates actually before that, this next date. So now I go over to his place this time, and this time like things are getting like, we're more comfortable around each other, touching, the kissing, and we end up having sex, which was the bomb diggity. So, you know, sparks are flying, the fireworks are booming, guys, like the vibe. Anyway, so we're having a good time, and now we're like cuddling in bed. I'm like laying on his chest, and he's like on his phone. So I'm like to him, you know what, actually, like since I've met you, you're like always on your phone. And for me to say that, it means you're always on your phone. In fact, you might be on your phone a little too much, because I'm always on my phone. And he's like, no, babe, I'm just like doing business. It's work. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. We're laying there. This name Samantha comes up. Guys, to this day, I remember her name was Samantha. And he's like scrolling through the chat. Oh, baby, I love you. No, baby, don't be like that. I don't know. She's a bit upset about something, but I can't like read as fast as he's scrolling. And I'm like, okay, cool. At this point I didn't mind, because like it's not like we're like exclusive or anything, and we were just having fun. But then also like this conversation with Samantha is quite deep. So I leave it, and I'm like, okay, sharp, we move. We have that date, I leave, I go home, he texts, we're texting. And then I think that day I posted a status of a friend. It was a friend's birthday, a male friend's birthday. And I was like to him, happy birthday, hope you have a great day. Guy was kind of like to me, Mr. Yahoo Boy. He's like to me, why are you posting like pictures of like other guys? So I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, no, like I'm not trying to be like possessive or anything, but like I really like you kind of thing. So I just want to know, like, is this guy like a someone else? And I was like, no, he's just a friend. And there's like really nothing here. He's like literally like a brother. So then he's like, oh, okay, cool then, that's chilled. So then we, instead of like going on actual dates, we were just chilling at his place, because honestly it was winter and I'm not the type of person that wants to go out. So I was like chilled with it. I go and I chill again, lying on his chest again. We've watched the movie again. We've done the bamboozle again. And Samantha comes up again. So I'm like, okay, who is the Samantha chick? So I'm like to him, who is this like Samantha chick now? Because now I'm like, you added me for my friend. So if we're going to be doing this semi-exclusive thing, let's be like transparent. No, she's just this ex that's like been bothering me and stuff, and like I'm trying to get rid of her. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool, then we move. I think like a month and a half goes by and we're like doing this thing of hanging out with each other and stuff, and then he's like to me, Cheryl, will you be like my girlfriend? And like the vibes are flowing and I really like him. So I'm like, you know what, yes I will. The girl is then cuffed. So now that I'm cuffed, obviously we're officially each other's. Obviously that means that you're not texting any other people on the side. We are each other's. If you are doing that, that means you're cheating, right? It's fine. Again, I'm sleeping on his chest. No, this time we're sitting in the lounge on the couch watching soccer with like his brothers, and he's on his laptop, and this chat with Samantha comes up again. And then he's like to her, oh baby, no, I miss you, haven't spoken to you a while. Samantha's like, no, I've been busy, but we'll be able to speak this weekend and we can like video call. He's like, okay, sharp. And then he's like, you know what, baby, actually my brother like passed away the other day and we haven't been able to get money, and you know things are tough here in Africa, could you send me like $500? Babes is like, okay, sharp. She sends it through PayPal. So the PayPal details are there, and then on the next page there's like his PayPal account. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like the Samantha girls come up again. So I leave it and I come back, I think on the Sunday, because that day was a Saturday, and I'm like to him, you know what? We said that we're dating now, and the Samantha chick has been here from like the get-go. You said she was an ex that was bothering you, so let's like be truthful and transparent and honest. Who is this chick? Nah baby, you know, like things are like rough and stuff, and you know, like I just moved from like Nigeria a few years ago, and on like sometimes forex trading isn't like really working that well, so sometimes I just have like these friends and stuff in America that will like send me money. So I'm like, okay, but this conversation you're having with the Samantha chick is seeming, it's like, it feels kind of, I don't know what to call it. Like there's like, it's inappropriate for like a friendship. And he's like, no, I understand your concerns. I will pull back a bit and tell her that like, no, we can't like speak like this anymore. So I was like, okay, cool, but like it seems like you're okay to have this conversation with her. It's not one-sided. He loses it, he comes up with some whatever excuse. Stupid me, I take it. I'm like, you know what, I'm overreacting, it's fine. We're chilling. Then I go over another day and he's like, nah, let's go chill by the pool. So we go and we chill by the pool this time. And then he's starting to ask me like questions. So he's like, oh, so like where were you born, kind of thing. No, he knew where I was born. In fact, he didn't know where I was born. He knew that my parents were Zimbabwean. So he's like to me, since your parents are like Zimbabwean, do you have like South African papers, or like were you born here, or like what kind of thing? Like what's like your story? So I was like to him, no, my parents were born in Zim and then I was like born here. And he's like, oh, okay, that's cool. I normally meet people who have who are born in Zim and then they're brought here. So some of them have papers, some of them don't have papers. So like you're very lucky. Like your life won't be held back by any like xenophobic attacks, or people won't stop you from getting a job because you have like the right papers and stuff. And I was kind of like to him, well, my full name is Zimbabwean, so when people do see it, they will know who I am, whether I have the ID or not, because you can get a South African ID as a Zimbabwean and become a South African citizen. So anyway, we're having this whole chat and stuff, and he's like, oh yeah, well, I don't really have like those documents. I'm trying to get my citizenship, but like, you know, it's gonna take some time. And now that I'm thinking about it, I think maybe marriage might be the best way to go about it, because it'll be the easiest and what. Mind you guys, at this point in time, I'm like 21. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, it ain't gonna be me. Like, I'm not ready to get married. And he's like, no, it'll just be for like the papers. And I was like, no, my G. He's like, no, I totally understand, you're like young, but would you mind if I like married a friend? It wouldn't be like anything. And I was like, I guess so. Like, if that's what you need to do to get your hustle on, like, move, guy. we're like, okay, cool. Then he's like to me, so do you know about like the American like shops like Walmart and something else? I'm like, yeah, I do. And he's like, well, would you be able to help me get like vouchers from there? So I was like, how exactly would like I help you with that? Like, and he's like, no, like we'd like use your Facebook profile to like talk to people and they would get like the profiles. So I was kind of like to him, why? And he's like, no, because like you're a real person and stuff and it won't be like an issue. So I'm like to him, nah, gee, that's not making sense. I lost it and I'm like to him, I'm not interested. He's like, okay, cool. Well, since you have like papers, would you be able to help me with anything that like I needed this side? Mind you, my mom has warned me about this whole debacle. My stepdad has warned me about this whole thing because he's Nigerian and he's like, you need to watch out with these Nigerian boys. Don't give them your papers. Don't give them too much information about who me and your mom are. Don't give them too much, like don't tell them like where we live and what, because like some of these guys can just be really ruthless. Some can be nice, some will just take advantage of you. Just be safe and be streetwise. So I was like to him, no, I don't have access to like my papers and stuff or like my bank account details and all that stuff because like my mom is very what do you call it? She's very like overly protective and stuff. So if I need money, she'll normally just like e-wallet it to me. Guys like, oh, okay, that's like a bit rough. He's like, your mom's strict. I'm like, yeah, she's very strict. So now like the paper situation is like stopped. So then he's like, baby, actually there's something I wanted to talk to you about. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool, what is it? Guys, this is all one seating conversation at the pool. He's like, this Samantha chick, she's part of my business. So I'm like, okay, part of your business, how? He's like, no, I don't know if you know, but like some Nigerian guys talk to other people that feel lonely. We're really helping the women. They feel lonely, so we become friends with them, and then because we're friends, they'll like send us money and like help us a bit, you know, like you would do with your friends. So guys thinking I'm stupid now and I don't know what's going on. So I'm like, this boy is a YAHOO boy and he is scamming the ladies. I'm like, oh, okay, that's so nice of her to like send you money kind of thing, because now it's been that $500. How much more have you like gotten from this woman? So I leave it. We're going on with this like relationship, and then we're chilling in bed another day and another name pops up, Cynthia or something like that. So I'm like, okay, I leave it. He goes to the bathroom and he leaves his phone, and I go through his phone, and on Tinder he's got another profile that doesn't have his original name that he had, and he's based in the USA, and he's matching up with all these chickies, and the age range of these chicks is like from like 40 to like 50. So I'm just like, okay, mind you, this guy is young-ish. I'm not gonna disclose his age. So he's talking to these ladies and I see there's a lot of them, so I'm like, WTF. Anyway, we leave it. I don't judge him for his situation. I see like he's doing what he needs to do to hustle, and I'm like, it's fine, whatever. Gullible me, honestly, guys, I should have done better. It's fine. Then the relationship starts changing a bit, and he starts like asking, why don't you post me as like your profile picture or as your status? Why do you like do this and this? Do you know that being a loose girl isn't like a good thing to be? I know you're not a loose girl, but I just wanted to let you know. And then at that point in time, sometimes he texts me, he's like, where are you? I'm like, I'm with my friends. He's like, do you know it's not like good for you to like hang out with your friends that much? You should be like hitting the books. And when he's like going on about the stuff. So now he's trying to like manipulate me into doing like things that he wants. But like I feel like I'm streetwise and I'm not easily fooled in a sense. So you can try and manipulate me. I might pretend that I'm falling for it, and then I'll come back and kick you in the ass, or I'm honestly just not gonna be for it. So he's trying to make me feel bad about this, and he's like, nah, you just hang out with all these friends and stuff. Are there any male friends that like hang out with you guys? And I was like, well, at times, yeah, they are, but like, so what? And he's like, no, you know what the problem is? The problem isn't even you. The problem is your male friends, because they'll think that because you're hanging out with them that you'll want to sleep with them, and then things will just be lost in translation. So I'm like, I've been friends with these people like since high school. That kind of shit is not going down. Like none of my friends and I want to sleep with each other. So like it's fine. he's like, oh, okay, then you're not gonna take me seriously, and he starts guilt tripping me, what. And I'm like, yo, booty, like, I can't like facilitate your insecurities and stuff. These are literally like my friends from high school, and there's never been like an inch of doubt about what our friendship is. So if you're gonna have an issue with it, then like whatever. We have this fight, it carries on for like a few days, and then he starts saying, so then I didn't talk to him one day because I was like, honestly, I'm not gonna fight about this thing. Text me, oh, so you're not talking to me anymore, that means that you must have a new boyfriend. So I'm like, what? And he starts throwing these things at me, trying to manipulate me into like apologizing. So then I was like, actually, you know what, guy, like, I'm actually not for this anymore, and like, I don't want to date you anymore, like, goodbye, I'm breaking up with you. Oh, is this the girl that you are? This is the problem with dating girls that are 22. They're just too young, and they don't understand what a real relationship is, and that relationships take work. In fact, guys, I wasn't 22. I was 21. Yeah. Relationships take work, and you 20-year-olds, you youngsters and stuff, like, you haven't seen life. This is why we date girls that are above like 25, or girls that are like in their 30s or 40s. So I was like, oh, girls like Samantha. Oh my god, he got angry. You can't bring up Samantha and Cynthia and Mangwang will like work and whatever, and he's like going off. I'm like, guy, it's chilled. You don't have to explain it to me. I'm okay. You said it was work, it's fine. Secondly, we're not dating anymore, so you don't have to justify yourself. It's fine. I block him. He messages me on Instagram. Oh, so you think it's cute to block people? That's just so immature, and you need to do better, and you need to grow up. Oh my god. I was like, no way. Anyway, we leave the situation. Carry on with life, and then I meet up with this other guy. Called, shit, what's his name? Mr. Big Shot. And Mr. Big Shot and I actually start flinging again, and so Mr. Big Shot's like, where have you been? Like, you've been quiet and stuff. And I was like, no, actually, like, I started like dating this guy, and his name is YAHOO Boy. So he's like, YAHOO Boy, and I'm like, yeah. And he's like, this YAHOO Boy? I'm like, well, I don't know his surname. So he goes through his Instagram, he's like, is it this YAHOO Boy? So I'm like, yeah. And he's like, you can't be with this guy if you're like associated with me. So I'm like, Booty, what do you mean? So he's like, no, at the moment we're like feuding and stuff, so you need to stay like on one side so you don't get caught between crossfires. So I'm gonna like to him, dude, I'm not understanding like what we're doing, whether we're dating or not or whatever. Why would I need to be involved in your guys' wars and stuff? He's like, no, I'm just telling you to be careful and to be safe. Don't tell him that you know me. So I was like, okay, sharp, we move, we leave it. A few months passed by, and then YAHOO Boy texted me, and he's like, you know what, actually I miss you and I fucked up. So I'm like to him, okay, that's nice, like, whatever. He's like, no, come, let's talk. Go over, we end up having sex, we don't talk. And I'm like, well, thanks for the great fuck, but like, that's the end of it, I leave. I don't talk to him for like a few weeks actually at that point in time. Then he's like, oh no, why aren't you, like, you're not like talking to me anymore, and like I told you I missed you, and I know we had sex that time, but that wasn't like all that I wanted. I actually want you, and I want you back. So I was like to him, actually I'm with Mang. I'm with Mr. Big Shot. And he's like, what, how do you know him? And I was like, no, I knew him like way before you. So like, yeah. Oh my god, the buyers. You're just one of those girls that just goes round. Is that all you date? You just date foreigners? You just date Nigerian guys? Is that what you are? So I was like to him, what do you mean? And he's like, nah, if you get with one Nigerian guy, you can't get with all of them. You're just a whore, you're a slut. You just lose, what? I was like, hey! Keep your stuff, guy. I'm moving. I block him, and I'm like, you know what? Actually, I don't need this shit. Bye. I go and tell Mr. Big Shot. Mr. Big Shot's like, I told you not to tell him, but it's fine. I don't think he's gonna do anything about it because he's gonna be too hurt to tell that like you were involved with me and him. So it's fine as long as you weren't doing any of the judgy stuff that he asked you to do. And then I was like, no, I didn't. He's like, okay, fine then. Cool, you're safe. So Mr. Big Shot and I stay like friends-ish. Guys, Mr. Big Shot is gonna need his own story because that like, it's a big thing. Me and him happened before Mr. YAHOO Boy, and then like carried on doing our stuff. So Mr. YAHOO Boy is cancelled now, and I'm just like, no, like, lost me. I carry on with life, we move, and then this year I'm on Tinder again, and I see him. I'm like, ah. I swipe and we match. And I'm like, shit. So he's like, hey, I've missed you. So I'm like, again with this missing thing. He's like, well, how was I supposed to contact you if you've blocked all my numbers? And I was like, but you blocked me on Instagram. He's like, actually, yeah, you're right. Let's meet up. So I said to him, no, I know if we meet up that we're just gonna sleep together. He's like, nah, don't be like that. Come on. Actually, before that, Mr. Big Shot told me that Mr. Yahoo Boy had moved back to Nigeria. So like, yeah, did I get to say goodbye to him? And I was like, no, I blocked him ages ago. It's fine. So now Mr. Yahoo Boy is in my in my Tinder chats, and he's like, nah, give me your number again. I give it to him. He's like, yo, I've missed you, and you've like grown into such a beautiful woman, and wah, wah, wah. So I'm like, okay, whatever. He's like, come over. I'm like, dude, I'm actually not in the mood. He leaves it. Then on the Friday he texts and he's like, come over, come on. So I'm like, you know what, actually I'm just gonna go and hang. I'm like to him, I'm coming over, but we're not having sex. He's like, sharp. Go over. He's like, bring a bottle of wine. I'm like, no, because I know what the wines does to the girls. So we go, we're chilling, and he's like, oh my god, you look so beautiful, like look, you've bloomed and you're driving now and you're working, what, congratulations on graduating, whatever. He's like, I couldn't see all this stuff in your life because we don't have each other on Instagram, and I wish I could have seen all of this. Whatever. We move, we're chilling, we end up having sex a few times, and I'm like, the girl's weak, guys. No judgment. Let's not judge the girl. Anyway, so we do it and we're chilling, and he's like, don't you want to like spend the night? I'm like, actually no, I've got work tomorrow, and I know like we will be at this the whole night, so I won't sleep and I won't get to work. He's like, okay, cool. Then he's like to me, oh, I've got some big news to tell you. So I'm like, okay, what? And he's like, I'm married. So I'm like to him, repeat, and he's like, nah, I got married when I went back to Nigeria. I met this girl who now stays in London, so I travel between London, Nigeria, and here. So I'm like to him, but what were you doing on Tinder when you are within the marriage? He's like, no, come on, man. What am I supposed to do when I'm in South Africa? I'm like, you're supposed to keep it within the chains and not do anything. And he's like, nah. And I'm like, it doesn't make sense. And he's like, no, don't judge me, what. We're sitting. At that point in time, I was lying on him. I'd gotten up and I was like, what the fuck? And he's like, I've got more news. So I'm like, okay, what? He's like, we've got a kid. I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, yeah, he's one. I'm like, oh, okay. And he's like, isn't he cute, showing me pictures, what. I'm like, so now I'm like, the girl's gotta go. I don't know why I brought myself back into the situation. You know who this guy is. We've gotta leave. We're chilling, we're chatting, and I'm kind of like, what the fuck? Then he's like to me, so yeah, this chick is like in London, and he doesn't have anyone here. He doesn't mind having anyone in Nigeria because it's always like a stop off. And she's also Nigerian, so she travels between Nigeria and London, but she doesn't come here to South Africa. So he's like, you know, Cheryl, I really loved you, and you know, I was young then, and like shit just got the better half of me and all that jazz, and I just wish I'd never let you go. So I was like, oh, okay, whatever. This was just like sex, like nothing else, no emotions, whatever, and I'm totally over this guy. He's like to me, so I have a proposal for you. So I'm like, okay, what? And he's like, I don't have a wife here in South Africa. So I'm like, okay, because you have a wife in London. He's like, yeah, and I just think that you would be it. And I would be what? He's like, I just think that you would be my wife. Like, I just think that we would just achieve greatness together. And I was like to him, no. I was like, no. Like, no. Firstly, you're married. Secondly, you're married. Thirdly, you've got a kid. Fourthly, I'm not there, guys. I'm not getting married until after 35. So like, let's not even put this into the talks, into the works of anything. It's a no. So yeah. I'm like to me, you know what? actually, like, you're semi a great guy and whatever, and I'm happy for you that you found this family and stuff, but I think you should concentrate on this family. If there's any advice I can give you, if you do want to get the second wife, then go get her, but it's not gonna be me. I'm just not for it at all. I don't know why you disrespect your wife like that at all in the first place. Secondly, I really didn't want to participate in you cheating on your wife, especially if she just like, if it's not an open relationship, why are you bringing another person into it? But it's fine, we move. Please don't text me again, please don't call me again. I'm not interested. This is it. Like, Mr. Yahoo boy, we are done, finished and clear. I don't want to hear about you, I don't want to see about you, nothing. Focus on your wife and your kid. Oh, no, Cheryl, don't be like that. I was like, no, like, I'm being like 100% serious now. Do not contact me because I will at you. He's like, okay, fine then, it's okay. Go then. So I'm like, okay, and I leave. I drive home. By the time I get home, there are texts. I can't believe that you're so immature and that you're not open-minded to being like a second wife, and that you're making this whole thing of me and you sleeping together into a big deal. It's not like it was serious, even though I do love you, but like, yeah. And I was like to him, no, like, do better. And I blocked a nigga. And I was like, good riddance. Guys, niggas never change. You were scaly and weird in the beginning, and now you're scaly and weird again. Like, no, do better. And I pray to God that, I don't know, but your wife deserves better, and that child deserves better. Like, no, not me. I am sorry that I participated in that situation. If I had known, nothing would have happened. But like, yeah, we live and we learn. So yeah, that is Mr. Yahoo Boy's story. I never thought I'd be the other woman in that way, but it's fine. Or to be offered to be like a second wife, guys. Wait, do I look like second wife material? No way, I am one and only. But it's fine, we carry on with life. But yeah, that's like the whole story, guys. Thank you for listening to me rant and rave. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll come back for more of these story times on Tinder Tuesday, because yeah, there's quite a few more. Mr. Big Shot story still needs to come. I'm trying to figure out how to lay it out so that, like, it was messy, guys, and it was, my friends would say it was a dark time in my life, but I think I grew as a person. So yeah. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. Have a great night.